When looking back to the 20th century, the United States had partaken in many wars around the world. The most common wars that at least the general public knows that the US has been involved in was World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War. There was one war, however, that seems as though it has been somewhat forgotten, the Korean War. Before even discussing the Korean War itself, let's talk about Korea in the early 1900s. At this point, Korea was becoming a protectorate of Japan, and by the year of 1910, Korea was officially annexed. Japan during this time oppressed the Korean people and often forced them to work in the Japanese war machine. By the end of World War II, Japan was defeated, resulting them in losing their colonies and their puppet states. When the Cold War started, the Korean peninsula was split in half as they were under U.S. and Soviet occupation. Eventually, the two occupied Koreas established their own governments, with the South being a republic and the North being communist. For the Koreans themselves, the division of the Korean peninsula was seen as foreign interference, as for nearly half a century they weren't granted the right to self-determination. Seeing how both occupations of the now two Koreas were no longer needed, both US and Soviet troops had pulled out from the peninsula. Around the same time, China has fallen under communism. The reaction among the American public was one of fear and uncertainty, as communism was spreading throughout the world. The idea of domino theory became popular, which suggests that once a nation goes communist, then its neighboring countries will eventually become communist. Why is this important? North Korea's leader Kim Il-sung had plans to invade the South to unify Korea under his rule. The hope was that the United States wouldn't care much about South Korea, seeing how they just came out of World War II. As for the Soviets, they wouldn't support their invasion in fear that they were getting dragged with a bigger conflict with the United States. Even without Soviet support, the North Korean army was much more stronger than the South. On June 25th, 1950, they began to invade the South. In just 5 days, the South Koreans were on the verge of being capitulated, its government in complete disarray. As for their military, they had lost more than 75% of their soldiers. It seems as though that Kim Il-sung's gamble had paid off. Unfortunately, however, his assumption of America of not interfering in the peninsula was wrong. In response to such an aggression, a US-led coalition comprising of nations from all over the world began to deploy what troops they could send to South Korea. When they arrived, they began to push the North back beyond the 35th parallel. The table has turned. It's now the North Koreans who are on the verge of being defeated. That was until China intervened. Chairman Mao Zedong believed that once they defeated the North, then there would be a massive assault against China itself. As such, the Chinese army in the hundreds of thousands came into the North's aid, pushing the US coalition back to the 35th parallel, and for 3 years, it's been a stalemate. Eventually, both sides grew tired of the war, and the armistice was signed. The demilitarized zone was established, but there was no official peace treaty between the North and the South. That was until April of 2018, with both nations' leaders officially signing a peace treaty to end the Korean War. Will we see these two nations unify again? Who knows? But for now, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so that way you can be notified when each video is coming out. And as always, stay tuned for more.